Been a minute, but we're back on the Malibu. I'm gonna try to get this thing done before the season ends. It's kind of the goal. Don't know if it's gonna happen because, as you know, I'm sure if you're building the car at home, parts are on back order and they're really hard to get. We'll see. A lot has changed since the last video that I made on this thing. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then you have no clue, and I don't really feel like explaining everything that's changed. But we've got a lot going on. I'll do some B-roll and stuff like that so you can kind of see everything that's been done in the engine bay. But today we're gonna do the floor pans. I'm gonna paint the cage and paint the trunk. I'll show you what I'm gonna use for that. Let's go. So first thing I got done this morning was I washed the car. It's been pretty dusty because it's been neglected. It's nice and clean now because I got to wrap this thing in plastic in order to protect it from overspray. So I plan on painting the cage here today, and then the interior lacquer thereof. All the metal panels and stuff. This is all going to get coated in the Herculiner truck bed coat. Herculiner truck. What is it? Truck bed liner. That's what it is. There you go, that right there. So I bought a kit of this. Comes with a brush. I got some extra brushes here, rollers. I got an extra roller left over, and I got an extra half a can of this stuff from when I did the trunk of my Impala. So I plan on using that up, and then all of this because I figure that it's going to be a little bit more to do both the trunk area and the floor pan area. But yeah, the first thing I did was actually I obviously cleaned it all out and I prepped it. I just used some of this wax and grease remover, and I put it in one of these spray bottles here. You can pick it up pretty cheap. Basically just doused everything, wiped it down good a couple times, and then for the cage I went ahead and hit it up with some just regular Scotch-Brite and then wiped it down again. Make sure you wipe it down before you Scotch-Brite it, because if you don't and you Scotch-Brite it, you're just going to rub all those oils and crap into the metal before you do that. So yeah, clean, Scotch-Brite, clean again. That was my goal. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mask off the areas that obviously I don't want overspray on, which is pretty much the whole car, windows and stuff. I'm gonna paint the cage, and then I'm gonna start in the trunk, give the cage time to dry, and then I'll do the floors, just kind of flop back and forth. It's gonna be a lot of time lapses until it's done. All right, got all my main areas masked off with the paint plastic stuff that we got going on here. Just kind of did all the main, like the glass. Don't want any overspray on the glass because, you know, that's a pain in the ass when you got to take a razor blade and take all that off. Yeah, and now I gotta wipe down the cage again because of my greasy mitts got all over it, so I don't get any like weird fish eyes or anything like that. For the front, I just covered it with a moving blanket. That should be fine. I don't expect to get overspray all the way up there. Plus, when this car's done, I'm gonna cut and buff it anyway. Yeah, so next, wipe it down and we'll get to painting. And the cage is painted. Is it perfect? No, definitely. I got some runs up there, like a run there. Got some fish eyes right here. But you know what? Whatever. It's done. As you saw, my awkward tall ass getting in and out of there without trying to touch the bar. Definitely test my flexibility skills. I plan on putting like a rubber textured vinyl like right there in order to protect that from when people get in and out of the car. Be a lot better than the paint because that's going to get scratched up real quick. But the nice thing about this Duplicolor stuff is it dries like really quick. So by the time I get done rhino lining the rear trunk area, this should be all dry up here. So if I bump into it or something like that, I don't really have to worry about it. So yeah, next step, let's work on that trunk. So I'm first going to go ahead and use up the rest of what I didn't use on the Impala. Hopefully this stuff is still good. It's been over a year, but I have that sealed up really nice. And when I popped it off, it had a little pressure in there. So that's a good sign. Pick up one of these suckers. Find it in like your paint aisle at any hardware store. Stick it in there, mix it around. Really make sure that it gets those rubberized chunks and stuff all mixed in thoroughly. And then I'm just going to pour it in the pan, start rolling it on. First coat done and in. Looks kind of blotchy right now, but that's just because I laid it on pretty thick in some areas. Gonna give this a good 2 hours to dry or so. And then we're gonna hit it with one more coat and we should be good after that. So this looks a lot better. So yeah, gonna go get some ibuprofen because this is definitely a back killer. Some food, then I'll come back at it. There we go. Second coat is in. Excellent coverage. Obviously, it looks wet because it is. We're going to give this a good day to dry. The smell is, you know, you don't want to whip this too long. That's definitely how this smell is. Definitely looks really good. How much I used? Can you see this? I don't know. My son has messed me up here. So I basically have as much left over as I did in the first can that I used. So one can should do you. So if you're doing this at home, on an 81 Malibu, 4 pans in the trunk, it'll get you done. And there we have it. What a difference that makes. Honestly, I've been procrastinating this job for quite a while just because I know how messy and time consuming it can be, but I'm really glad I got it knocked out. Now we can move forward with wiring And interior bits, I ordered carpet. Carpet is actually surprisingly cheap for these things. I think I got it on eBay for $175 shipped to my house. Don't expect it to be perfect, but you know what? Good enough for this car. Gonna have to trim to fit it anyway. Yeah, if you guys made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Consider just, you know, drop me one of these. Really helps me out. Be great if I could get to like 1,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button too. Yeah. So yeah, next up on this car, we're gonna do, like I said, wiring, interior, get it running. Like I said, I really want this thing on the road before the end of the season. Fingers crossed. See if we can make it happen. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you on the next one.